From the ashes of the old world, in the shadows of the last great war, the world was shattered by magic. Plains became deserts, mountains crumbled into the sea. Witches and heretics are burned in the street, lined with oathbreakers hung by their necks. Where once was law, order, empire, now only hardship and savagery remain. To the east, in Highport, a weary king rules an ungrateful people. To the west, his brother keeps swords sheathed and words of rebellion at bay. To the north and south, savage elves and cowardly dwarves openly practice arcane arts, shrouded by leaf and stone. In a time when a man's worth is measured by his word, when might makes right, and a quick death is a mercy, only those more foolish than brave venture far from home. The age of peace and prosperity has ended. In its place, only strife.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Age of Strife. How are you guys doing today?
Yeah, good.
Brilliant.
I'm good.
Excellent. Anything interesting going on these days in your lives?
Started my first, I guess, like full-fledged one-on-one campaign this week. Pretty excited. A little nervous. It's my first time doing like a full-fledged solo campaign.
Are you a player or the GM?
GM. I've done like solo one-shots before, but never a full-fledged campaign. So
I gotta say, I think the one-on-one is the purest form of D&D possible. I love it. It's the best. And every now and then I toy with dropping all of my other shows and just creating a series of one-on-one campaigns, but I could not do Age of Strife.
Yeah, I've done a few one-on-one campaigns. I'm starting up a second edition game with my friends. Hopefully soon I'll make some characters on Tuesday night. And so in my one-on-one campaigns, my players usually get very attached to things, like certain NPCs, and then they don't know it, but I've scheduled that person to die. So
you've scheduled your one-on-one player to die or character to die?
No, not the player, the NPC.
Oh, okay. The NPC.
Who they've been allied with, so to speak. And they did their best.
What's the cause of death going to be? Is it something? Is it like they're going to die in battle, or have they gotten themselves in some sort of trouble and it's going to come back and bite them in the butt?
Well, the way it worked out back then when I ran that game was the mercenary captain was the NPC, and he got possessed, and eventually he was going to be put down by the high priest.
Mm-hmm.
And I just let the player character just do whatever, and the player character actually succeeded in beating the possession, but the captain died anyway.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate. What about you, Jeff? You do any one-on-one D&D campaigns?
Yeah, actually, a friend of mine, inspired by Dicing with Death. I'm currently the player, but we are going to do the switch. The DM's great at improv, so that's been really fun. I'm a fighting cleric, the monk of Vecna, and I'm level 3, level 4, and I have not had a single combat in the entire game, so that's been really fun. Like, the whole thing is of gathering secrets, blackmailing people, corrupting them, and all that sort of thing with their secrets, and driving them further into evil. So it's been a real dark campaign as well, like to get into the details in a one-on-one where like you're trying to influence and manipulate people, and that's been a really, really full-on campaign, actually.
Wow. Cool. Well, does anyone want to give us a recap of what happened last week? It was kind of an eventful week. As you can see, We're missing Roderick. He's not here anymore. Roderick is what's the official term?
Dead.
Dead. That's the word I'm looking for. Kicked the bucket, pushing up daisies, 6 feet under, bought the farm, gone. So how did he die, and what happened with you guys?
All right, I'll do the recap then. So we started the session a week ahead, nearing the end of the month, and lost all signs of Bluebeard and was it the Iron Claw gang? Long Claw gang. I think I made the same mistake last week. And yeah, we got called to more pressing matters, i.e. our rent was due, and we hadn't hawked enough stuff to get to pay our ways. So mother told us very firmly that we had to go out and take the money with legal means. So with nothing beyond that and the lay of the land, we set out and wandered. We traveled east and then was ambushed by goblins. I got smacked in the head. Used the donkey as a shield, but he didn't like that and ran away after he got smacked. And so then we went into the swamps chasing after them, downed a couple. And then later on that night, we slept, and there was a whole heap of goblins gatherers walking in a line. Chased them down, followed them for a while. Ambushed them. I got knocked out at that point as well. We did get them to run away though after killing a few. And then in despair, the party led by Jonathan said that this plainly wasn't working. So we need to go to Thornwatch Keep and beg for mercy from the lords of the land. We did press on though. We headed west. Ran into a giant slug, tried to engage it at range. The giant slug, which holds acid at decent range. We sat there kiting it, but unfortunately, Roderick got a little bit too close before he ran away. And I think on the round he was going to run away, he got globbed by acid. We then hurriedly had to finish up from there. So we I think I got the killing blow on it, and then we had to try and deal with the aftermath as Jonathan was down, Roderick was dead, we were left in the swamps. We got back to the swamps, and then Jonathan, in despair at the thought of losing all of our wealth and possessions, did ride off to Thornwatch Keep. And rolled a natural 20 on his charisma check, and which gave us a month's reprieve, although we now owe 440 gold for the next month.
Yes. Countess Lorwyn held off your debt collectors for 1 month out of respect for losing Roderick. But she, at the same time, was not super pleased with the approach, and I think we'll see more of the fallout from that meeting today. So let's start off the episode with level ups, because we didn't have time last week to do it. So,
All right.
why don't we just go in counterclockwise fashion, like a dancer? And Benjamin, why don't you start off with some HP rolls?
All right, I was hoping to go first. Obviously, we've got a 1 HP character, so...
D6?
3.
Okay, that's not bad.
Right. So
Right.
my total hit points are now 7.
Nice.
It's maximum because we're a week later, aren't we?
Yes, this will be taking place a week later. You all had to rest and heal, and there were funeral services to attend to, which is what we're going to come in at the start of this episode, is just after Roderick's funeral. You also have 60 points to apply to your thief skills.
60. So I can dump half of that into read languages.
Yep.
60 is pretty good for a level 2.
Yep.
And then I would like to ask my other players, where would I throw the other 30 points?
I mean, on that sort of stuff, I've always done it as whatever I did in between the level. I've obviously therefore practiced.
I did quite a bit of moving silently. But I also tried to find traps every now and then, but I'm at 5 of them.
That's right.
I might want to get better at picking pockets. All right,
Well-
I'm gonna put 10 in pickpockets, so that's on 30. 10 in move silently, putting it to 50, and another 10 in find remove traps. So I've got a nice split. I've got I'll send this in the zoo. All right, that's my level up done.
Torin. I think you
Right,
have
here we go.
a D10 to roll.
I do indeed. Here we go. Yeah, average again.
Nice.
I will take it. That could have been a 1.
Yup. You also
And
get a
my-
+1 to hit on all your attacks.
Yes, that go.
And nothing else for you.
No.
Bradley or Jonathan.
I'm excited to roll a 1, be rocking that 2 HP.
Oh, there we go.
Yes.
Nice.
Great.
Was almost got more hit points than me.
I think I got more thief skills. Already threw them in there to put it all on detect noise.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure how many a bard get off the top of my head. Did you look it up?
Yes, I did.
Is it like 30 or is it like 15?
I think it was 15. I think at level 1 I got 25 to distribute, and then 15 to distribute every level up thereafter.
Right.
But my memories
Bards have a lot fewer skills than
Yeah.
rogues.
I think I only have 4 in total, 4 skills.
Yeah. Okay, so your HP is now 7, your level is 2. Get these overlays updated.
Oh, on the overlays, I noticed you had arming sword listed for Jonathan. He has short sword.
Ah, you're the one with the short sword. Okay.
Yes.
And the cane sword counts as short sword, right?
Right. Just couldn't remember who it was that had the... Alright, that is fixed now. Thanks for catching that. Okay, all that is fixed. Okay, so... Overlays are not automatically updating this time. What the hell? Ah, there they go. Almost. Perfect. Cool. So, we're going to come into game. You guys are at Roderick's funeral. It is a very solemn moment. Danny's there. Henry's there.
Henry. Gramps.
Your cousins, Henry's new wife, everyone's there for the funeral, which is being held, just a moment, on the crypt in the middle of the river. That's the spot. There's a long procession that brings you out there, in which people in the streets kind of see what's going on and give you guys a lot of space. As is customary, mourners are brought in from outside the family to help make a show of things. And typically, when a death of a high-profile person such as Roderick occurs, there's a representative from each of the other noble families, maybe multiple. If it was a well-respected person, there would be perhaps many people in attendance from the other families. But at bare minimum, you would send someone from your family to show your support. You guys see no one else. It is just the 6 of you, the 7 of you? None of the other families have sent anyone, even though the death was well publicized. The funeral continues. It goes well. The priests, of course, do a fantastic job. And Roderick is interred inside the crypt. My question to you is there anything that you wanted to do for that in particular? Did you want to bury him in his weapons and armor? Did you want to bury him with a bottle of booze? How would you see him off?
I mean, ultimately, I think that would be up to Danny, but my preference would be for him to be buried in his armor and weapon, as he died fighting. He died saving our lives. Look at it like that. So, it's the second time he saved my life. So,
that is the way he's endured then. Does any PCs have anything they'd like to say over his body?
I'm going to remain silent during the funeral. Stay next to my mother, Danny, for most of it. Mm-hmm. And that's about it.
Okay.
Jonathan, did you want to do anything before I do?
Jonathan doesn't say or do anything. He kind of stands opposite of everybody else, a loner.
Yeah, I'll probably step up to the up to his body and just say quietly, "Uncle, you gave your life twice for me, and I'll never forget it. Once you gave up your life and your livelihood for me, and the last time you saved us all. Thank you."
The ceremonies wrap up, and the mourners are dismissed. You guys all can travel back home, where Danny has made it clear that you guys all need to have a family meeting. Now, it's been a week. I think everyone's back to full HP. You have a doctor in the house who can help see that your wounds are patched up and enough time to heal. It is the 2nd of October, you guys. And you owe 440 gold, is it, at the end of the month?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, a little bit less now that you don't have Roderick around. So that's actually 25 gold less each month that you owe. Because, hey, there's one less family member around, and PCs each and 25.
There's always a silver edge.
Mm-hmm. A little bit nice there. So, money is... There's... One of these documents has... I thought it was in player family notes that had how much you guys owed each month. Ah, there we go. 220 per month expenses. Now it is 195.
Anya, could you possibly send me the folder?
Yeah, sure. Also, can you move your mic just a little bit away from your face? Just a smidge.
Testing.
There we go. Fine. All right, I'm sending it in the Zoom chat. So, you guys are making your way home through the city streets. Probably a little bummed out. Might not even be an appropriate word for this occasion, but we're going to stick with bummed out as you make your way back home.
I think it's fit for Roderick to be bummed out.
As you guys pass the luxurious market and then the main temple and come on down towards where your house is, you see on the wall of the town, the inner side of the outer wall of the town, has been some graffiti. In fact, the paint is still wet on the stone. The graffiti shows a displacer beast and a lion side by side with an alms basket held out to beg for money.
I continue walking.
I'm gonna walk up to Jonathan, say, "How you see that? We just find out who did that. See who's against us."
I just nod my head and just continue power walking to the house, very angry.
Well, unfortunately, our actions were not well looked upon, but I don't think our house has been well looked upon for a very long time. Neil, I'm guessing that's not acrylic paint. How hard is it to take off?
You can dispatch one of your servants to scrub the wall down. It's still wet, so maybe they'll be able to get it off.
We'll smudge it.
Well, smudge it, paint over it, really, get it off. You can do your best. It'll be all right. Danny is blind, so she doesn't see it, and Henry has enough common sense to, as he's like escorting her, to not point it out to her. Louisa and Astrid, Susan, definitely stop and look at it for a moment, and then kind of move off to confer in private about what, that situation. Louisa and Astrid being the socialites of your family, they might be able to get to the bottom of it, maybe find out who did it if it was another noble family. Jess is with Henry and ignores the meeting as well. Eventually, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 of you make it back to your house. Is that right, Wound?
Yeah. How was Henry during the funeral?
Somber, sad. This is this is his son that died. He's old though. Henry's 70. He lost his wife already. Now he's lost a son. He's already lost a son-in-law. And he's lost a daughter-in-law. Oh no, he's lost 2 son-in-laws actually. So, he's getting used to death. But he's fairly quiet. Eventually, the 9 of you make it back into your house, and everyone goes to change out of their mourning wear and into something maybe a little bit more appropriate for the situation.
Casual attire?
Yeah, something like that. Is there anything you guys want to do pre-meeting with Mom?
I want to do something after, but I'm guessing the meeting with Mum, if she's called it, will be the thing.
I just go straight into whatever room would be typical for this meeting and wait for the fireworks.
Right. Eventually, everyone gathers together. Danny's sitting there, blind as a bat. He goes, so... had a week. Not been enough time, but it never will be. So let's move on. We still have problems. The Gill Gang. Are you familiar with them?
I don't know, are we?
It's in one of the documents I handed out to you. So maybe you're not familiar with them. Is anyone else familiar with them?
Yes, they are a gang that travels up and down the river, led by a general, I believe, from one of the attempted sieges to take back Nixon.
Well done.
I have no idea who the Gill Gang are.
You should study more, Amy. I know you're young, but it's time to step up and take charge. Jonathan is right. The Gill Gang are a group of broken men from a siege that attempted to take Nixon, 10 years ago or so. The army failed, as I'm sure you all remember your histories. And these half dozen to a dozen people split off. They're led by a woman. I believe her name is Fiona, who wears a carp-shaped helm. Easy to spot. You typically rob from people along the river or rob nearby villages and then head back to the river as their base. No one knows where their true base of operations is, but they do work along the river. Dangerous work. carp in there, as you all know, are vicious and can rend a person to bits in a matter of minutes. However, these people present a prime opportunity. They're bandits. They are troubling the locals. They should have money. This is exactly the sort of soft target I was hoping we could find. So,
I'll go steal a helmet straight off her head.
that is very nice, but I don't think the helmet is going to be worth enough money to cover our accounts.
I think at this time the money is good, the gold is good, the public relations is excellent.
Well, public relations doesn't matter if we're all thrown out on the streets, so while that may be a boost on the side, it is still not our primary objective. But I like the way you think, son.
Quite.
I do believe the gang was all from Wusselwharf, which you guys know to be one of the villages out there. So, what are you gonna do?
Well, I think it's either we be bait or we head to Wusselworth and try to find out where their base of operations would be. Does it seem likely, Neil, based off of where they're raiding, or actually I'll just ask, is it possible from where they've been raiding previously that they could still be close by to Wusselworth?
I don't have that sort of information, unfortunately, but it's known that they're from there. I'm sure authorities have moved through and questioned the village before. And since the gang is still operational, I presume that they haven't found any new information.
So who exactly do they raid going south? They're just fishermen?
Lots of fishermen, occasional villages, travelers on the in-between villages. Whatever target they can find that's easy and soft.
I don't think we'd want to be bait, because you'd have to appear weak, and Lauren, you don't appear weak. And obviously you're best at work with your armor and weapons. So if we could maybe work with them and then, turn against them when we have a good opportunity, then that could work well. They steal from other people, so their stuff doesn't belong to them. It's fair game, right?
That's not a bad plan. We could be mercenaries out of luck, looking for a home, perhaps.
I think Little Sister said something beautiful. Little Sister, you said we could work with them.
Yeah.
I ask you all something. What is our ultimate goal?
Probably not to resort to banditry, if that's what you're thinking, brother.
No. What is our ultimate goal? Yes, we have money that we need to acquire by a certain date, but look past that. What is our ultimate goal? Where do you want to be 5 years from now? I know where I want to be. Where do you want to be, brother?
For me, it is more where I want the town to be. But
our dear uncle died, and who was there to support him? Who was there to mourn with us? Who in this town was there? What noble was there? None of them. They can all die by my book. I don't care about any of them.
Actually,
Where do I want us to be? Where do I want us to be? I want us to be at the very top. I don't want to be eating from someone else's hands. I want them to eat from my hands. I want all of Wadsworth to eat from my hands. And I don't want to stop there. I want to retake Nixon. I want to forge Nixon in my image. I want to take Thornwatch's keep. I want it all. But to take it all, we're going to need people that won't play by the rules.
I think, brother, that your head's maybe in the clouds. You're suggesting that we ally with bandits. I don't think that is a good way to put our name back into high esteem, since it is our
high
actions.
Esteem and whose views?
We will never have high esteem.
With us, they can all die.
I don't want to ally with the bandits. It's just I know how to disguise myself and put myself in with them. I can prove my talents to them, and then when I understand their situation, I can pass on information to you, and we can go in and just beat them at their own game, defeat their leaders quickly, fast. The rest of them can scatter.
Well, the first step is we need to locate them. That comes before anything else. In terms of allying ourselves with them, one, that doesn't give us the gold that we desperately need, or else we'll be in the same position as what we were just a couple of weeks ago.
A couple of weeks ago, we were rushed. A couple of weeks ago, we only had a few days. Now we have a month.
Yes, but we also have to earn double.
We're in no hurry. We have plenty of time.
I'd say until we have a buffer, that is not exactly correct.
Danny speaks up. Says, Amy, are you suggesting you approach them on your own?
No. I have allies. I could get some of my friends to come along. We could appear as little thieves who've been kicked out of Wadsworth. Nowhere else to go.
Amy,
about those children in the streets?
Those children in the streets are talented.
I think you could have two allies, but could they be your brothers? I think they would be looking for sword arms and those who are able to carry the loot that they find.
Those two kids that Amy is speaking of, they knew the blue-bearded man before any officer, before any captain of the guard, before any of them.
Yes, they're good in the city, but we seek the wilderness.
The thing is, though, Torin, you're obvious.
Yes, that would be the angle to go for. My obviousness is exactly what they'd be looking for.
But they would know who you are? Would that be okay if just like, what if they spread rumors, which would be true, that you're working with bandits? It would come back, it would be worse than the graffiti we saw earlier.
That's a good point.
There's
So, sister.
Maybe Jonathan, you can do, just put on simple clothing and bit of makeup. You'd be okay. Something like that.
I think I would quite enjoy speaking with these bandits.
So, he says, Amy and Jonathan, you were going to go find the Gill Gang and join up with them, and then meet up with Torin and go take them all? Is that the story that I'm hearing?
Meet up with them and see if there is business opportunity with them. And if not, then our business opportunity becomes them.
So how do you plan on finding them? Not like they advertise their location.
We can start with the village that they are reportedly from.
I might have another suggestion there, Paz brother. It seems if they have a history, we could talk to the local authorities and find out where they've been hitting. That should narrow the search down a little bit.
We can do that. I don't know how much luck we'll have with that route, being as if the authorities knew how to find them, they would have them.
Well, it depends on how much motivation they put into finding them. Knowing that, regardless, they'd have to carry their goods back. They have to camp. It makes sense that they would be in a limited area. We would be simply looking into a lead. That's what it would be. Not an either or with your suggestion, but perhaps something to support that.
The sheriff would know of the most recent attacks on land, probably. Fishermen down by the docks would be spreading plenty of news if any of the other fishermen had been attacked out on the river. Those are your two places to gather information. One last thing I'd like to say before you go off is that we all see life is short, and without my eyes, I am probably going to live a lot less long than I would have hoped. I could trip and fall down the stairs and break my neck any day. So, hope before my time is inevitably up, the three of you can learn to never mind. She waves you on. Henry, would you see them out? And Henry kind of shoos you guys out of the house. Or out of the room. And then closes the door behind himself, leaving Danny alone.
Grandfather could possibly have a word with you.
Yes.
Thank you.
What is it, young Torin?
Well, Grandfather, we went out on our expedition, and all we found was threats. We didn't find any wealth. We didn't find any treasure.
Yes. It is most definitely hard times.
It is. Perhaps you can help there, Grandfather. You were there during the war, before the changes wrought, before the land was wrought to ruin.
Before the Tuk-Tuk Mountains came to be, that was just an open field out to the north. You could almost see the North Sea. I mean, not really, yes. but there were no mountains there. Popped up overnight.
Overnight?
Popped up overnight, called down by some damned evil dwarf or an elf or one of those other sub-races, slower life forms, wanting to cause problems.
Yeah, so what I was thinking, Grandfather, is, are there any maps of that time beforehand?
Maps from before?
Yes. Can you remember?
There must be, somewhere.
I have a task for you. The land has changed, but it hasn't been replaced as such. It's just been changed. So what was there beforehand, i.e. places of wealth, are still there, just lost.
Yes.
If you could locate a map, or perhaps use your memory, perhaps speak with your old-timer friends, and perhaps gather local rumors, and perhaps let's build a map of today. I think that would do a great deal in making our expeditions more focused rather than just haphazard, wayward strolls through danger.
That's very clever, Torg. Map of yesteryear. Why? Maybe Bonnie has one. I will see what I can do in finding one of these older maps.
Very good, Uncle. Perhaps in your spare time.
All I have is spare time. I'm retired.
Especially with Roderick now gone. Yes. It'd be good to see you out and moving forward.
Well, I'll look into the maps for you, son.
Very good. Thank you, Grandpa.
Question about the city, Neil.
Yeah.
So there's a brewery in town. Do we know who owns this brewery?
Yeah, it's one of the few middle-class families that exist in this world.
Okay. Okay. Grandfather, I believe I have something for you as well.
Oh, my. Popular today?
Yes, you are, grandfather. It has been a dark and troublesome time for our family, but things will get better, grandfather.
Quite so.
Will surpass. And in the spirit of things getting better, I would like us to have a dinner party for say, maybe next week. Maybe next week, grandfather. I think I have somebody I would like you to invite to a dinner party.
Jonathan, don't think we have the money to throw a party right now.
How much money would we need for a party, grandfather?
For a real party?
Yes.
Oh. Dozens of gold?
Dozens of gold, that is it.
Well, I mean, at the bare minimum, you want a proper party, it's going to be quite a bit more.
Has our house ever hosted a party?
Back when your grandmother was around, we hosted many a party, but sadly, the gods saw to take her.
Well, grandfather, soon we will be having another party. Begin preparing early preparations. So. It may be a few weeks, but begin early preparations, grandfather.
Will you? Will there be any coin on hand? I don't think we can borrow money from anyone at this point.
We will not be borrowing money from anybody.
Okay, well, you bring me the coin, and I will see that your cousin gets the preparations ready.
Very well, grandfather.
And who shall be invited to this dinner party?
The family that owns the brewery in town.
Oh, you would host commoners?
Yes.
At our dinner party?
Yes.
Jonathan, just them?
We can invite others. The main people I want is the family that owns the brewery.
Oh, well then, no need to go all out. We could do that for a few gold pieces. There's no need to get all dressed up and fancy for commoners. Oh, I remember being a commoner. It was awful.
Grandfather, tell me something. Tell me about the family you were born into.
Oh! You want to hear about your great-grandparents, do you? Well, everyone, come into the study. I have a story to tell you about the time I was milking a goat. I was only 4 years old, you see, and we had a little farm.
Grandfather, you were a commoner?
Oh, of course I was a commoner. I was a peasant. I was born on a dirt floor with a thatched roof over my head. Look where I am today. Just about to be on a dirt floor with a thatched roof over my head.
No.
So your grandfather takes you into your room and starts to talk to you about his family and where he comes from, and he's the oldest member in the household, so you kind of have to sit there and listen to his story, which goes on for maybe an hour and a half about the good old days, which were not really all that good and they were terrible, and then kind of runs into the war and how he met his wife and but after a couple of hours, he's all tuckered out and he goes to take a nap.
You asked for it.
So, what's the plan with the brewery family?
I'm going to get us tons and tons of free alcohol, little sister.
I mean,
are you doing this in honor of our uncle?
You could say that. It's going to be the beginning steps of my overall plan to take back Nixon.
Well, you sweet on the brewer's daughter, are you?
Yes, alcohol is key. We will take back Nixon. And you know how we're going to do it? We're going to do it with a Centaur militia.
Centaur militia?
Yes, we're going to forge a Centaur militia.
Oh, yeah. We talked about that last time. The Centaurs, they're the cool people, and they They like to drink, and they could probably drink more than Uncle Roderick because they're big horses, aren't they?
Yes, get this. They can drink more than Uncle Roderick could drink, and they are stronger than 10 Torrens.
They're also monsters. They also hate humans.
They sound like nobles to me. Will fit in well.
Yes, brother, I think you need to give that plan some more thought. I think your head's
plenty of thought.
Just like this plan with the bandits. You don't know what their motivations are. You don't know what drives them. You don't know what they are after.
That's why we'll find it out.
And make a conclusion without being able to join the dots together.
You think too much.
Torren, we can't think it through until we go and find out what we need to know.
And that, Amy, is the right step of the plan that we're on. But regardless, we do need to find them. So how are we going to find them? I'd rather not be bait. I'd rather not spend another... I've experienced enough of having rocks slung at me. I'd rather be the ones doing the first strike on them. How do we find them? I guess we can talk to the sheriff, we can talk to the fishermen, we can go check out Russellworth.
Yeah, I'll go speak to the fishermen.
Very good. Perhaps I shall speak to the sheriff then. But then we also need a plan.
I think we should all stay together this time.
Brother,
I think we should stay together.
Are you so scared of the Pulis's opinion that you're scared to go out to the town by yourself?
I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid at all. I think it is just wise for us to split apart.
Are you worried about another attack like Mother's?
It could happen. And if Mother could be taken down so easily, one of us could be taken down so easily. We need to operate with every bit of intelligence we can. We must be smarter than our enemies.
Mother got took down because she was covered in treasure, right? So I'll just go walk out like a commoner, like I always do. I'll go speak to the fisherman, find out what we need to do. I'll be back. It's not a problem. You don't need to worry too much about me.
And I'll be heading to the sheriff's office. So, brother, you can care to join Amy and keep her safe if you'd like. I think I'll be able to take on some common folk.
I just nod my head. I don't say anything.
So, Amy, where are you going?
So I changed out of my casual attire into my commoner clothing with the hood and the dark black, green, brown, and wearing just a dagger on the belt. Mm-hmm. No other weapons. I've got my backpack with the usual stuff I have, and I head up to the docks. Let's see.
Which docks? There's the east and the west dock.
So
West
dock
West
is bigger.
West docks are bigger, much bigger.
Is there any benefit to going to the east dock then?
It's a different dock.
And you know what? We'll walk through town to the east.
I think the West Dock is more the shady part of town. The slums are right below it, and then the Ruins Champion Hall is north of it, so it'd be the slummier part.
The west side is generally the slummier part than the east side. That applies to both the north and the south side of town. The west side is definitely slummier.
We could try asking both sides. We can get two different answers, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a... the town's only a mile across. It's not that big.
We start with the east.
How big is Wadsworth? I forget.
I think you've scaled it
Half
based
mile.
on...
Yeah, 2,080 feet across.
The map is to scale, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it's a half mile apart. You can visit both of them in the same hour if you want.
All right.
All right. So, is it just Amy headed to the east dock?
I walk with, or are we going east first?
I think we should go for east first, yes.
Okay. I'll stick with Amy the whole time throughout the east dock experience.
And Torrin?
Hey, I'm heading to the sheriff's.
So, Amy heads out to the East Dock. Jonathan, you're like shadowing her, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So, Amy, you make it down to the Docks District.
Okay, so I'm looking for information on the Gilman. Let's have a look. The Gill Gang. All right. So I'm gonna just have a look around. How many fisher boats do I see?
Maybe a dozen or so that are just kind of bobbing out in the water. People out there, their lines down, fishing whatever they can. And then there are a few boats that are in the, where does a boat parking spot? It has a specific name that I know, and I can't remember it right now. It's called a slip. There's a bunch of boats in the slips, and various fishermen working on the boats, cleaning them, repairing them. Some people like stitching up nets. They're all kind of hanging out up there as you take a stroll down the dock.
Yeah, I'll stroll down and look for someone who's got obvious fishing equipment. Maybe the person stitching their net up. Mm-hmm. I'll approach them, say, "Hello.
Hey, lassie, how's it going?
Have you recently been out fishing?" I was asking one of my friends who's a fisherman. They just told me terrible news of bandits.
Who's your friend?
John.
No, a fisherman named John.
He's on the other side.
Oh, he's a Westie. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, whatever.
Well, he was saying that there's bandits down the river, and
Gill Gang. Been problematic. Haven't been able to head out that far east in a while.
Yeah. John told me that he got lucky. They only robbed, the small amount of money and fish he had on him. What have you heard any else about them? Do they kill people?
Sometimes, not usually. I myself have been robbed by the Gill Gang before.
What did they take?
Take my gold, took my fish, took some of my nets, some rope. But they left me alive, and they left me with my oars, and I made it back in one piece. But don't let that fool you, lass. Those bandits are mean, vicious sons of bitches. I had a knife to my throat the whole time they were looting my ship, my boat.
So, do you still go out into the outside the town river?
Only when I have to. I try and stick close to shore, close to town. The fishing isn't as good, but the farther you get away from town, the better the fishing, the more likely you are to be caught up by one of them. I heard a rumor once that someone who was being difficult with them, they tossed overboard and let him get eaten up by carp. Put a net on him so he couldn't swim to shore. Just watched as the water turned red.
That's incredibly terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, I'm Amy. What's your name?
Jacob.
Jacob. Well, you've helped me a lot. I can make sure my friend doesn't meet up with the bandits again, and because I'm going out fishing with him next time.
Have you ever been out fishing before?
No.
And you just want to go for a stroll down? Look, if you guys are going fishing for your first time, I recommend you stay within the town here. You don't know what it's like standing up on a boat if you ain't ever done it before. You stand up on a ship and you tip over real easy like. You fall in the water. At least here you there ain't no carp. The gates see to that. You fall in the water out in the open river. Well, I'm not gonna say you're guaranteed to die, but that is a bigger risk than I'd be comfortable taking.
Well, gotta learn something. I mean, What else am I gonna do? You know.
Well, what do your parents do? You like them?
Well, I've already learned how to do baking, and that's okay. That takes up most of my morning. And either way, I was wondering how far out of town do you think would be safe?
Now, if you're insistent on leaving town, I would keep the walls in sight.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Closer the better. If you can't see the walls, you are definitely too far.
All right. Well, I'm heading off to the other docks now.
What brings you over here to the east side to ask me, anywho? If your friend's on the west side, you're a bunch of Westies over there. What brings you over here?
It's because they are all determined. Well, John is determined to continue with the good fishing, you know, the far stuff.
Huh?
So I don't. You know, he wants to leave and go out, but I don't want him to go get killed by the bandits again. So I wanted to see if you guys over here had any other help.
Sure, whatever you say. I don't follow you in
Okay.
the slightest, but I gotta
No?
get back to my net now, so you run along and be safe. You hear?
Oh, all right. Thanks. Okay. I'm gonna disappear.
Okay.
Find Jonathan.
All right, let's switch over to Jonathan when... I'm not Jonathan. Let's switch over to Torin when we come back from our first break. And we'll see
Ooh.
what's going on at the sheriff's office. See you guys on the other side.